There will be heat waves going in there at 130, 140 degrees. You cannot survive in that, especially if you have don't have air conditioning. 120 will kill you if you're in there. If you're, I just read an article about they're talking about naming heat waves like they do hurricanes. They kill far more people. Today, heat waves kill far more people. I'll have people out in the desert dying this month. People with air conditioning are okay, but homeless people don't have air conditioning. Let's be clear about that. People who think they can work through these heat waves are risking their life. It's already bearing down on us. It's already insufferable. And I just heard people talk about how it was a Chinese communist plot to take over our economy. People in leadership.
That's remarkable. It's burying your head in the sand and not looking at the facts, not looking at the reality that exists. Heat waves are hitting our country and around the world at levels that are
intolerable.
And haven't been seen before, and they're getting worse.
And it may be already too late. But there's been a lot of times we've thought it was too late. You just fight.
Yeah.
You fight with everything you have.
One of the things I've been talking to some people about is creating green islands kind of within cities. What is Lancaster doing to kind of promote that, planting more trees, planting more greenery to lower the temperatures of a city?
We're not. We're a desert. Problem with those trees, take an enormous amount of water. People really have no appreciation for how much water they use. Fortunately, in Lancaster, water is not a critical issue right now because we water banked. AVEC is the water agency that did it. They got a lot of water under the ground, and we're good for about 10 years, at the current rate of development. But if we started planting a lot of trees, that wouldn't be the case. In areas where they can do it, makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense.
But, okay, well, that's interesting to know that you've studied it and you've looked at it and said, hey, this isn't
not an option. I wish it was.
Because they're talking about doing things in Phoenix, which I assume is kind of a similar environment to what you have here, but maybe it's...
They could do that with purple pipe water, but good luck. Mm-hmm. Phoenix, you're going to see a massive migration from people in Phoenix. Mm-hmm. I don't see any way their population doesn't cut by at least 50%. Anyway, I was there 2 summers ago. I couldn't believe it. As the cost of power increases, it'll be like our agricultural fields here. We used to grow alfalfa everywhere you looked. Talk about green. It was green everywhere you looked, right? Uh-huh. Then the cost of pumping that water became so great, you don't see any alfalfa. Well, there's a few, but very few alfalfa fields out there. It's water intensive. I don't see how, the problem with Phoenix is, the air conditioning, it's all wonderful. The cost of power has become so great, people can't afford it.
I know they were saying they just don't have the groundwater to support the population, so they just can't build any more there. And I guess they take from the Colorado River, and those rights are limited too. Though speaking of alfalfa, I guess down by El Centro, there are a bunch of farmers that got water rights back 100+ years ago, and they do grow alfalfa down in El Centro, and they have more water rights than the entire state of Arizona and I think Utah combined, just this group of farmers, which is kind of a bit crazy when you think about it.
It is crazy. I don't know that it's crazy, it's just antiquated legislation. You cannot go in to an extinction level event and hold on to all the freedoms you've grown so accustomed to. You just can't. Nobody wants to say it. This will undoubtedly be clipped by somebody, will be on Facebook, people will be sending me death threats over it. But the truth of it is, if we are to survive, it's going to have to get really stringent on what we allow people to do. You know? If we were to start that debate now and have that discussion now, we would be able to minimize it. You want it as minimal as possible, right?
Right.
If you wait too much longer, we're not going to have that luxury.
Right. Yeah, I think that obviously those farmers that have those water rights, we should compensate them. They paid off whatever it is. They get billions of dollars, but that's it. They don't have them anymore because we have tens of millions of people who need that water more than we need to grow alfalfa in the middle of El Centro, which is
stupid.
Is crazy.
The future of agriculture is going to be up. You're going to see 30-story structures where they're growing things. It'll be greenhouse growing. It'll be hydroponic, enclosed structures. I don't see any way to avoid that. I also like the idea. It's really nutritious food.
Yeah, they're doing it in Europe. I think it's Belgium or the Netherlands who grow more food than practically any country in Europe in these places that are similar to what you're describing, and it's amazing how effective and efficient they can be. Similar in Denmark, they're now all wind powered. They get 100%, some days, not every day, but some days up to 100%, and now they're exporting that. They're creating green hydrogen with the excess wind power to electrolyze it, and now they are talking about being the Saudi Arabia of wind and hydrogen, because then they can ship the hydrogen down to...
That's what we're talking about.
To Germany for their industry, to make clean steel and clean cement and clean...
or cleaner.
Yeah,
it's really
cleaner.
Hard to make clean cement.
Yeah.
Cleaner. Yeah.
Cleaner.
I'm confident that we're going to be able to do the hydrogen because we have a track record. The first affordable net zero house in the world, we did create here, and we created it with an international partnership to do it. Our transportation agency is the only profitable transportation agency in America. The only one. Why? Because it's an electric fleet and carbon credits. Seniors ride the bus for free. Veterans ride the bus for free. College students ride the bus for free. And we are still the only profitable transportation agency in America. It makes nothing but great sense. You should do it as a business decision without any concerns for your grandchildren. Personally, I wake up every day with one goal, and it's my grandchildren's survival. And I mean that with absolute sincerity. It's very easy to be passionate about this because I know what's at stake.
That's worth getting up in the morning and working hard for. So,
at the end of the day, what's the purpose of life? The purpose of life is to become as good as you can at whatever you're passionate about, that benefits your community. Whatever success I have is for one reason. I have an iron butt. I get up in the morning, I can sit in that chair, and I can understand the situation before I make the decision, because I get up at 4 o'clock to find out how to do it. You just need an iron butt and the will to do it.
Right. There is no substitute for hard work and determination.
I haven't been able to find it. There are no shortcuts that I've been able to see.
Right.
I don't make decisions in City Hall for next year's election or the 4 years from now election. That's not how I make decisions. It's what's it going to do for the generations that follow, and how do we safeguard it, and how do we make it so that the people that follow us are going to have that same vision of a generational government. I'm kind of hoping Lancaster at the end of the day is going to be the model for that.
Well, I think it's a shining light, and that's why I'm here, is to shine the light a bit more so that people around the state, around the country, see what a great community leader does and what a great community can do together, and the amazing accomplishments that you had. I mean, I remember when I came to California and coming up to Lancaster, it was kind of a joke. I mean, it was in bad shape.
It was horrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
We
and
had
now it's a
more
different-
gang killings than Compton when I was elected.
Wow.
Within 2 years, we had none. But you've got to be willing to make unpopular decisions. And it took a while for people to accept that. I think the biggest thing in people's way of developing a society that it could be remarkable is government. Look where we are today. We're in a situation now where every country has access to energy. Every country, right? Everybody on this planet now will have access to the greatest education in the world. Every morning I do at least 10 minutes on Coursera.com or edX.com, where I'm taking classes from Michigan, from Harvard, from Yale. The best education available is free. Free. We should be going into an age that is beyond our ability to imagine. Instead, we're fighting for survival because of our dependence on fossil fuels.